What is going on, boys and girls? Beautiful Thursday. You know, we're one day ahead of schedule. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me pop up this camera right here. How is everybody doing? Let's see. You know, get your seats, pick up your popcorn, get your guaranas, and get ready for today's live stream. I am excited. Got bringing in a few guests for you guys, along with my good old buddy Sam. We'll bring him out in just a second. Let you guys get accustomed, get ready, get your popcorn, and we gonna talk about what's up, my friend. We got so far league plays, not LOTR, so pass. I actually hope you see the thumbnail getting hop back in, because this has everything to do with LOTR. First thing, this game, I mean, I could be wrong, but it feels to me like it was inspired by the 1.0 version of LOTR. I'll let the devs talk about it, but I've been playing the beta, and every single aspect of the mechanics so far smells like Rise to War 1.0. You know, I want to analyze to see, you know, if we went back to our grassroots, our Rise to War grassroots, what would happen. And you never know. You guys know I cover always Rise to War and Lord of the Rings things here, so I am pretty sure the devs or somebody in their team will be watching this. So, you know, you never know. Any kind of influence could be a good influence for the improvement of our current game. But I'm not going to lie, I'm excited to have a look at this game. And for everybody that is interested in testing it out later, you guys are more welcome to do so. All right? So, blue is an elf. Well, no. Wyman, you're going to check it out in just a second. And at the end of the live stream, I have a good announcement to do, which I'll leave for later. We got Eric Cho, Arsenal. What's up, brother? Iomer. I'm still suffering with that name, my friend. Yeti. We got Darkness. Nox. What's up, Nox? Good to see you. We see Sebastian here. How you doing? FAQZ. What's up? We got Blue Eyed Devil. Bjorn Kraken. We got Zach in the house. All right, guys. A couple of housekeeping rules. Don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe if you haven't yet. Okay. What's up, Lucy? How you doing? Zodiac. By the way, guys, okay, as we're doing the live stream, I'm going to bring the guys here in just a second. You guys can just ask your questions in chat. I'm going to let them lead the first part of the live stream. And so towards the end, I'll be playing my own account for you guys to check out how it is, how I'm playing it. But if you guys have questions related to the game, mechanics, anything, just leave it in the chat. By the way, if you want your chats to stick out, and a good way to support my channel, you can always do a super chat, okay? Do a little super chat, whatever the amount, you know, it pops up for me, then I don't forget to ask your question or your comment. All right, so without any further ado, let's bring them out.
Spawning to the west
Guys,
of us, I think it's...
Everybody can now hear you.
Yo. Terrific.
Period.
All right, guys. I think everybody here is
everybody.
excited to get to it. So let's introduce each one of you, and then, like I said before, you guys hopped on, we'll share your guys' screen, let you guys lead, and show everybody all the cool things you guys are working on. I'm pretty sure people are gonna have some questions. I might have some questions of myself, and so let's get to it. So I have with me here my good friend Sam Pick. Sam, want to introduce yourself really quick? Are you a Rise to War player? Where do you play? Let them know.
Hi, yep, I'm Sam. I am a Rise to War player. Next season I will be back in Yuds. with Fellows and Tasks and some other players. And I played Project Nova on the beta, signed up for the first day, and I was the highest power player on the server on the first day.
Nice. Jeez.
Win-win.
And Sam does not let me forget that.
Absolutely not. I beat your own game so far, so let's put it that way.
All right, Tasks, let you.
That's because you brought in some cheats. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so hey guys, I'm Tassadun, as many of you know me. Yeah, I've been in the Lotr world for quite a bit, like you guys, about 3 years now. I've been in a few of the top guilds, like Amor, also Lame, and then now really excited to jump in with Yuds for this upcoming one. And Sam's telling me a big sell. He's telling me that there's some exciting stuff to come. So, I'm looking forward to that, and excited to be here. But in terms of a little bit of why I'm here, I work at Revolving Games with my bud Gravity Blast, Marty, here as well. It's going to be my pleasure today to introduce you to both my awesome team and the game we've been working on for quite a bit now. Me personally, I've been in the gaming industry for about 10 years, and I'm currently one of the senior designers on Project Nova. And obviously, I met many of you in a game called Lord of the Rings Rise to War during some of the craziest times, and had some of these insanest battles and memories with you guys. And I'm still having fun. But the game has changed a bit since then, and I miss some of those old crazy highs. But with what we're about to share with you guys today, maybe we have a shot at recapturing some of those old good times again. And we have our buddy Sam, who's been a great bud and joining us today, but also my other teammate right now, which I'll let him introduce himself. Yeah, one of these big names in the gaming space, and just been a pleasure to work with them. So, Marty.
Yeah, I am Marty, also known as Gravity Blast for various games that I play, and I'm the game director for Project Nova. And similar to Tasks, long sort of his history and lineage in strategy games, a lot on the social side, and also in mobile free-to-play, but also played quite a bit of Rise to War, both 1.0 and 2.0, mainly on the evil side, with various guilds. I remember definitely following around some of the bigger players out there that were my kind of pioneer guild leaders on that side, guys like Tyus, the other, major players out there too. But generally, playing as Rune, sometimes Mordor. Definitely enjoyed my time when I was playing. There was 1.0 rules, and I think there's a lot of things that we kind of captured when kind of thinking and designing this game too. So still looking to improve, get that exciting new meta, and definitely see if we can kind of carry forward a lot of mobile 4X into the next stages.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All right.
Crazy. Yeah. Sorry, fellow Eagle first.
No, I was gonna say, Gravity. What teams have you played? Like, what warbands have you played in the past? Because your name does sound familiar.
Yeah, I played under a different name. Gravity Blast is what I used for like shooters and like a few other MOBAs and such. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if, some of the older servers I was on. There was like DYLI. Was that what the acronym was? For a little bit. DYLI, yeah, Dying Light. I was on that for a little bit, and then there was a consolidation, I think about 9 months ago, of one of Ty's factions with another one that I stuck with for a while. But I'm not as hardcore as Tasks, but I don't have them locked and loaded. It's been a little while. I did also personally kind of drop off a little bit on 2.0 to kind of focus on the 1.0 meta. But I sure got a good number of seasons under my belt.
Sweet.
In Rise to War.
All right, so you got experience in the game as well. You probably felt our pain.
oh, definitely. But I definitely felt that pain, and then just also just the larger rules. I think in a lot of ways we understood what where those devs were trying to go. But honestly, the changes to quite honestly the marches, the way that pathing was handled, the fact that you really couldn't span the map as much anymore, just those kind of restrictions to movement and such. I totally felt that for sure. I felt areas where it's like, hey, I took like 2 or 3 adjacent regions in total, this season. Like that doesn't feel great. It wasn't sort of mass conquest like it was beforehand. A lot more stalemates, a lot more just sort of grindy death ball versus death ball kind of tactics, and really not a situation where it was like, hey, it's like two guys just in a bar fight. It's not like actually watching two pro fighters that know how to like slip a punch and know how to counter each other. And I mean, like, I think that's the game we all, at least I, fell in love with. So I think that's really the sort of nuance where we focus our game design.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's one of the biggest things was, the theory crafty and the countering system that you could have in 1.0. I mean, just that's one of the things, but definitely the biggest hit, I believe, was that huge change. I don't think it's so much. I don't think it's so much the fact that we play with 3 or 4 commanders in a formation. It's just that the promise of making all commanders great again hasn't really happened. If you actually had 70 commanders you could choose from that had different abilities and they worked properly, then I'm pretty sure people will be happy. But just I think the delivery of the promise has been such a ball drop that. Yeah, it's just, we all know, you guys, every week we're here talking about the goods and the bads, and so it's good to see that you guys are working on the grassroots aspect of Rise to War on a new game. That's really, really cool. Tasks, Fab, we're bringing him in.
Oh yeah, I talked to him a little bit earlier, and he told me he wasn't gonna be able to make it.
All right, so I'm adding him right now to the voice channel then.
Hi, man.
There we go. There we go.
Good evening.
How are you doing? Is it good evening to you as well?
Yeah, it's like 10 in the evening at the moment.
Where are you located?
Netherlands.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it is evening to you as well. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Want to introduce yourself really quick? And then we'll get started with the. I think everybody's kind of sick of looking at me, and they want to see what you guys have for the to show for the game. So.
Oh yeah. Well, my in-game name is Fab, real name Fabian. Played this game since 2021. Together with King, I was vice co-leader of Imor.
Oh,
defeated
there
Task
we go.
in his game. He still was a purple player. Then he boosted his account and he became our top player. We went to NRP, quit after 2.0 dropped, came back to roleplay as a joke, but now actually I am again co-leader of Unbroken at the moment, who's doing really good in roleplay and having a fun time. Low tasks now for almost 2 years, and he introduced me to the new game.
All right, man. Good to see. Oh, I remember our more good old days, man. I remember that time. It sucks. Every week, probably for about like 10 or 20 minutes, just the thought of 1.0 just comes to my head. I'm like, that was some good old times. Some really good old times. Well, guys, let me just see what we got here. Oh, what's up, Broram? How you doing, brother? Save that question, Logan, for later. So don't answer it yet, guys. But Logan asked, when does Project Nova come out? So let you guys answer that when you guys are doing your presentation of all the game mechanics. What's up, Ghost? We got Ghost in the house. All right, guys, without any further ado, take it away. Who's going to share their screen? Is it going to be you, Tasks? Or is it
Yeah, I think I can go first. I have some pretty pictures to show you guys. I guess like brief overview of today, since I'm talking about it already. But today, Gravity Blast, Marty, and I will show you some of the big things you want to know about our game, from its high-level lore and universe to just more detailed walkthrough of how to play. I'll focus on the ground level stuff first, and then Marty will get into some of the more advanced features. And if you guys don't know already, we're actually live in early access right now. We've been live for about a week on PC and laptop, and we're going to be still open for about a little bit greater than a week or so. Enough time for you guys to dive in deep and also collect all the goodies that we'll be rewarding as well.
All right, cool. Before you do anything, let me copy the beta link, and I'll post it in the chat here, so you guys, and I'll post it in my channel later as well on the Discord. But I'll post a link to the early access if you guys want to, right here in the chat right now. So grab your seat. There's four rewards, right?
Yeah. So I'll end up being on a landing page. So with a visual aid to kind of showcase everybody
Perfect.
that in a sec. All right. So let me know when, and I'll start sharing my
Perfect.
screen.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna have to jump about a couple areas today, but then here's just a splash screen of
Yeah, give me
our
a
game
second
right
here.
now.
Let me
There's
just
quite a little bit.
Let me just pull up your screen, and let me
Sure.
pull that up into the chat here. Let's see.
All right.
Give me a second. I think this one will work.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, let me just resize it now. All right, here we go.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to roll.
Almost ready.
All right. Just heads up, I'll probably be sharing a couple of other screens right after this. Yeah, you probably don't have to get this super perfect.
I'm just trying to, oh, wait. Because I use so many different screens. Give me a second. Oh, here we go. This one might be better.
Been there.
See, window capture. Here we go. Finally, jeez. There we go for you guys. Let's cut this off right here. All right, Task, go ahead.
All right, sweet. Let's do this. So, as some of you may have heard already, and some of you might already be in the game, Project Nova is a war game. It takes place in space, but more than just leaning on realistic space science and military themes, our world also has a whole lot of magic and sword fighting, and perhaps even our versions of lightsabers and the Force. So there'll be a whole lot going on. And this will be a big multiplayer social game, as you guys have been familiar with, obviously. And as you'll see today, there will be territory capture, resource management, building huge armies, and all that kind of good stuff. Teaming up with their friends in different roles and specialties. And our world also is made up of a big, diverse group of playable factions that I'll show you in a sec. I'm about to change the share really quickly, so hope this doesn't make this too tough on you, fella.
Yeah,
I'm going to jump onto a different screen. All right. I need to go into this landing page. All right. Cool. Yes. So how to play. This thing is live currently on desktop and laptop. So let's first let me show you this bit. So we come on a Project Nova. Let me just highlight it with my mouse. .revolvinggames.com, and from here you can log in with Google and Discord. And if you're more of the kind of crypto world, you can log in with your wallet as well. Up to you. Take your pick. And then after registration, then you are taken to this landing page that monitors 4 achievable early access milestones that you can get in the game. That will reward you with these 4 limited time profile pics. That's something to show for your early efforts. From 4 of the best characters in the game, each representing one of our big factions. There will be a download screen that once you finish the downloader, you should be able to install and launch directly from this page, and it will take you in. And at this point in time, I'm going to kick off a build so I can kind of show you guys what we are about. Just give me 1 second. Here. All right, I'm in. I'm going to change my share one last time, and this should be one of the last ones, I promise. Okay. Stop streaming. Jump into game. All right, fellow, can you see my
Yep,
latest
we
in-game
sure can.
with this animated gold dude?
Yep.
All right, cool. We have a lot of factions here. So our factions are all from distant worlds, each with their own look and feel and play style. So things will blur a bit as they usually do, but they largely split along the typical lines of good and evil. So on this first column, we have Sovereign, which is good, and we have Dominion, more along the bad side. We have 4 playable factions in early access, but we will total 8. I'll get into these right now and then talk a little bit about the ones that are yet to come. Let me just click into each of these. So we have Vanguard here. Vanguard's our faction that makes up our Holy Knights, our group of like more medieval guys in speech and culture, kind of like the Protoss and StarCraft. You guys play a little bit of that. But they do push some crazy tech as well, like laser swords and ships that shoot laser beams, and they have thick armor and advanced weaponry as well. And second on our column as well, we have the Eldarin, which are kind of our equivalent of an ancient race of elves. And while they also have advanced tech, they tap into a ton of arcane powers and unique abilities to keep their enemies off balance and unprepared as well. Moving on to the bad side, Tyrannus. Now, our militant faction ruling over a vast empire with an iron fist. And they sport some of the biggest artillery and firepower. And also they just have the coolest tech and body armors and stuff like that. These guys are just, so far in early access, one of the most popular guys to pick from this screen. And then fourth on the list, we have Ograx. They make up our faction of warring space orcs. And while they can be very fierce and brutish, which they are, they also have their warrior code and high sense of pride and honor and all that kind of stuff, if that's what we're looking for. But unfortunately, we're in the early access. We have not been able to include just yet. There's also Terra, our more typical human military faction of G.I. Joe type good guys. There's Stonar, our group of space dwarves that actually control giant mechs and robots and smash things in space.
Ooh.
There's Arcos, there's a whole lot of stuff that we can talk about.
Do we get to see them?
And
do you guys have any art or anything that you guys can share about them?
Well, they have.
Task, you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Cool. All right. 2 other factions. We have the Dark Elves as well, counterpart to our good elves are kind of like the Uruk-hai, a darker version of kind of evil and twisted. And that they dive deep in dark magics as well, and they'll have that in their look and theme and feel. But last but not least as well, we have an 8th faction, our AI faction, quite possibly the game's big bad threat. All factions will need to unite against to survive and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So we'll see. Cool. Any questions so far before we dive in?
No, man. I didn't know there's going to be 8, so... Space Dwarves? Yeah. Blue, he just mentioned Space Dwarves. That sounds pretty dope.
These guys will be cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Gravity Blast knows I personally helped spend some of the most time trying to design those guys and their strike craft. So it was kind of a bummer that they didn't make it into the early access, but there is some pretty cool stuff there.
Sweet. All right, man.
All right. Dude, let's do it. All right, I'm going to jump in right now. So making sure I select the Vanguard because these are my favorite group of guys to demo. All right. So entering our game, we're kind of warmly greeted with one of our game's collectible characters. There will be a bunch. So there will be a fair share of story and flavor kind of lore sprinkled in with tooltips on how to play the game and tell you about what your immediate goal should be. So some flavor text here. Cool, I just got rewarded this cool ship. It's what you use to kind of fly around in the map, kind of like the equivalent of your commander. So here we are, just tutorial stuff. This should be second nature to most of you guys. Attacking tiles, telling you how to do it. Some stuff that looks familiar, probably. And ship on the way in about kind of 10 seconds. So in a little bit, the ship is going to land. our engineers really put a lot of time into this. Some say overboard, but it's what makes our demos so much fun to show. You have StarCraft kind of flying around in all directions, and sometimes there are screens where you can see two fighting at the same time. I'll have a place where we could zoom in a whole lot deeper there. All right, so more stuff that will be familiar to you guys. A tech tree, as you collect a bunch of tiles and you power up your collection of tiles. We're going to be here. We're going to get access to more and more upgrades. Here, I'm just going to activate my increased tile count to exit out of there, and I'm just going to take a dive into the base upgrading system really quick. And here's an exploration of our base. We're going to go in, and we're just going to get back online. Cool, sweet. And then 3, 2, 1, and we'll be back outside. Also one of our cool characters right here. All right. Yeah, little flashy base upgrade, and we're back online. Now, just for reinforcement for newer players, I know we're all kind of pretty advanced here, but for the newer players that are actually jumping on this stream, we have players from outside our typical community also kind of jumping in and on the stream as well. This kind of breaks down a little bit of things going on, like level, battle power. Obviously, there are going to be troops. You're going to be able to load up the ships with a whole lot of troops, and we'll need to reinforce as these things get chopped down. Attacking for a second time, and this should get us out of the Nux soon and new user experience, and we should be able to kind of start doing a deeper explore. Any quick questions right now that come to mind, fellow, on your end?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just for the OG Rise to War players, essentially the tile system is like 1.0, right? I mean, basically, unless I'm wrong, a lot of the aspects of your guys' game is not based or inspired by the mechanics from 1.0, correct?
Yeah, a lot of the gameplay acts very similarly. You take a tile one at a time.
Yep.
You do a tile conquest that way. Combat is single ship based. There's going to be gear that you equip, and things are going to be very counterable. Like as Gravity Blast mentioned, we're not about creating these super big death balls and you crash them together. Right now, I have 2 builds in 2.0, and they pretty much kind of do that, a good and evil version of that.
Yep.
And I really went all out to try to make it happen. But in the end, when I'm fighting on the map, I'm not scared of anybody. As in, previously, I could use my decked out Frenzy Dwellin, and I could still get got by a Sunend or like a Grima even on the map. It's like, holy crap, I need to hold my dude back. So I miss a lot of that kind of stuff.
I do too.
You got me talking about builds again. I promise I wouldn't do too much of that, but maybe we will a little bit later.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's part of it. It's part of it. Yeah. So cool, man.
Yeah. So cool.
Nox does have a question for you though. Yeah. Nox asked, when does it come out on mobile?
It's good that my team is hearing this because it's one of the biggest questions from everybody here. Sam, like he was kind of bragging about earlier, he was #1 on our server, and then over the weekend he fell a little bit behind, and then I did too. So I'm a big mobile guy. For the longest time, we actually built our game on mobile. So internally, we were playing on phones doing our weekly tasks. So the tech is definitely there. It just takes a little bit working with the and coordinating with the platforms on Android and also iTunes on Apple to make a lot of things go right with promotion and stuff. So hopefully early next year, we'll be in a good spot. Can't make tons of promises, but just know that I'm pushing hard.
Sweet. So, I mean, they're working really hard, guys, to get this up. So Jack's in the comments here. Jax, I know for sure that Gravity Blast, when he hops, when he does his part, he's going to be showing some of the more advanced parts of the game. So he's going to show it. No, because Jack said, let's see the comms and the gear, so.
Well, that's for sure. And what up, Jackson and Nox? Good to have you guys on the stream. Cool. Yeah. All right. Should I just proceed so we could start to get over the Gravity Blast bigger and badder goodies?
Let's go.
All right. Sweet. So yeah, I finished that tutorial. I finished and a bunch of these tasks right now. All should look kind of familiar to you guys. I'm just gonna blast through this stuff. Good old chapter rewards, and there I am, collected one of the profile pics that would get rewarded to everybody that plays our early access. I got access to a second ship. Let's start just getting into some of the deeper test gameplay. But before we get into that, we're in space, just helping you guys kind of look around. I am in a dev build, so I can show some cool stuff. Like, unfortunately, you guys won't be right now, but make a case if you guys want it. I will be able to control the camera. We built the game like this. It's in full 3D. You can kind of look in all sorts of angles. And it's actually pretty cool when your ship's flying around and you want to get a really close-up shot.
Is it going to be 3D?
Well, it is 3D.
Is it?
Whether you could completely control all this stuff is we're working. We're trying to figure out when will be the best time to introduce some kind of crazy like this. But like it might be a little bit overwhelming for some people. Like I said, though, if you guys want it, you guys can make your case, and you guys have access to us on speed dial. So we're easy to reach.
So, I mean, yeah, of course, you're right. It is 3D, but sorry, my question was, am I able to right now move the camera around?
So we kind of locked it right now because we're worried about too much freedom and people getting lost. Okay. But we built it that way. The tech can do it. So I obviously can do it. And maybe we might make it a little bit more advanced feature so like the early people don't get kind of lost. But obviously you guys are pretty advanced. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking for myself, I was just thinking, I like the immersiveness of being able to move. I mean, Rise to War has that, but it's only one that's marching. I like to see, like just kind of any time to kind of move around and see different angles and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we actually put the care and time to make almost everything else that way as well. Sweet. So let me start to get into the rest of the game. Even here, you can kind of move this stuff around right now in multiple directions. Let's load up a ship. So still early for me. I just finished the early tutorial, so I don't have a whole lot collected right now, but this is our ship management screen. A lot of extra kind of fluff put in here with, if I move this slider, ships kind of fly in and out right here. Extra cool kind of touch right here. Oh, I'm going to confirm this build so I don't forget. But special request from I made to one of our engineers, and he actually went above what I asked for. But you can kind of create all these different angled action shots here as well. Sweet. So when your army starts to get really big and badass, you take some pretty cool screenshots.
Sweet. So basically, those 3 slots are basically your units, right?
Yes. So kind of going in line with the 1.0 build stuff. Yeah. You can mono stack, you can dual stack, you can triple stack, and you could hide behind certain units, you could taunt. All that kind of good flavoring stuff will be in our game.
Sweet.
Cool. All right. So to answer a question from Jax, actually, I'm going to continue to load up this ship. Like I mentioned, our ships are kind of like the version of the commanders in other games. So you can see here, I have a collection of some ships. There's a ship I just loaded. We have a lot of gear slots, and for our gear, we have taking the influence from other mobile games out there, like Star Trek Fleet Command is another big one. But the people are things you can slot on to the ships with all the different powers. Things like confusion or stun resistance, or like a double attack, those kind of things. If that's what you need on this ship, this is where to get them. For early access, we don't have everything available to play around with the officers, but like I mentioned to you, fellow, we're going to show you some stuff that hasn't been shown to any other live audience outside of inside our game yet. So I'll show some screens of where some of that stuff will come, and hopefully you guys will like some of the direction that we're going there.
Look at that. We're getting cool, We're getting in here first, guys. Jeez.
Dude, you guys are my buds, so gotta put you guys first. Cool, yeah. Let me just kick off this other shit to show that the battle reports are there. Yeah, we can definitely go pretty deep on this, but quality of life is the way to go for us. Like, our battle reports are just easy to see. easy to read. You go combat logs and you can break stuff down round by round in terms of when big hits happened. You don't need to sift through large logs. We have them. They're kind of color-coded in some pretty nice ways. But then when you want to go deep and figure out what happened into your build and when, you'll be able to have it all kind of sweet and put together and organized. So cool. And something that I personally I'm super into, you guys know I'm a super big build nerd. There are so many times I spent possibly way too much time trying to build up my Denethor and my Thranduil, and Fab has never seen the end of my report shares on that. But I think what Rise to War did well, but I think was kind of missed was their Red Book. And I think what's really cool about the Red Book is you could fight all these different combinations of things. And for me, I would prefer if I could even fight some of the tougher combos out there, for me to kind of figure out cool builds to overcome them. And that's kind of what this is all about. So our version of these challenges is less about going around the map and tiling and using units that are not your own. It's all about using your own builds and fighting some of our best builds. And if some things get kind of stale and the user base doesn't know about certain things, like certain things I used to play, I discover a lot later, and I wish I knew a little bit earlier. But if the meta gets a little bit stale and the build's out there, it's our chance to just kind of give them meta a little bit of a nudge. So it'll be cool challenges here, things for even some of the whales to try out some of their best builds and see if they could take down what there is to offer inside our game.
Sweet, that looks.
But in terms of just graphical,
test that out earlier. It was pretty cool.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So I'll show you what I'll show the guys on the stream what you've probably obviously seen here as well. But this is super early stuff, so we made it easy and everybody wins, so no one feels bad. But coming into here, kind of story low element. This guy talks smack. You come in, select the ship that you want to attack with, and like I mentioned, our engineers really went to town and went all out in terms of graphical fidelity here. So you have all these ships fighting at different angles, and you can speed this thing up because as cool as it is, you might not want to see it forever. But you can also freeze frame it. I missed. So you can slide the scale all the way to 0, and then you get a freeze frame shot of some cool angle that you want to see. So lots happening here. We're going to make this part especially deep. Like I mentioned, I'm a super big build nerd, and every single build under the sky we could try to build. If there are certain builds that you guys missed as well, like I go down the list from like a Frenzy, like a Swan Knight Alchemist Gimli to like a Retaliate Theo to I was working on a couple other builds as well. And I just wish I had more time to test them out.
Yep.
So if you guys have interest to test some of those builds out further, you guys are working on, hit us up and we can make that happen.
Sweet.
So some of that stuff can become a reality again. So cool, yeah. That nears the tail end of the stuff that I wanted to immediately show, but we still have a whole lot, and I don't want to take up too much of our time. Any immediate questions here before I pass the mic?
For me, it's pretty clear.
Right.
Let me. I mean, actually, I do have a couple questions. I don't know if it's something that Gravity will cover, but one question I have is: so when you look inside the ship, let me put myself back on so I can make myself a little bit more clear, maybe. When you're building out your, decking out your ship, and you got your 4 officers, and what are the ways that you can improve your build? I know you have the tech tree, right? You have the tech tree, and you have the officers and the units. Will the officers also have like strengthening and refining, things like that, or no? Like, how does it work?
Oh yeah. Okay. So cool. Let me grab the share again really quickly, because this is some of the stuff I wanted to show here first that I promised you fellas. Great question. All right.
Sweeto.
Cool. So there will be collectible officers here, and I probably spent as much time in here as anyone. I probably wouldn't be surprised if I spent more time in here than anyone, just because I started so much into trying to solve, like, to make the bad commanders good. But I went pretty nuts here. And what I spent most of my time doing was just re-refining, breaking my gear apart and strengthening and refining from 0 and doing that over and over. I spent hours on this stuff. even sometimes just make one or two changes. So the way that we're going to hopefully save everybody a little bit of time is that any type of skill that you have slotted in, as long as it was part of the refine, you're going to be able to switch it. So take your pick. It was in your refine. Even before someone lands on to attack you, if you know it's going to be a certain build that you need, you're going to be able to do a swap fast enough.
So you can switch
make
the skill. You don't have to like redo, like break down the gear and then switch it like we used to do the tricks and stuff. You can just switch the passive skills as long as you have it already inside the officer in this case.
Yeah. So there was once upon a time when the Witch King was kind of terrorizing everybody, and if you know a Witch King is coming, you could just whichever commander is about to take the hit, you swap on the burn armor on them just immediately, and you're going to live the day. Yeah, you'll be able to make those switches that fast.
Sweet.
Yeah, and hopefully save everybody tons and tons of hours, but also not be so worried about what you're refining away and potentially losing, because some people like use hammers to kind of break that stuff apart.
Yeah.
We're going to make it less risky to just try different things in the game and just play.
Sweet. That's actually really cool. Nice.
We're putting a lot of time into this stuff. Between this and the challenges and the battle reports, we're just going to try to make everybody's lives a whole lot easier, including myself, because I know I'm going to be playing those things possibly as much as you guys as well. So cool. Yeah, I know my other bud, Gravity Blast, has been waiting eagerly. So I will pass the mic over. How are you doing, Marty?
Doing well,
All
but
right.
I can't wait till my Witch King rises again, because man, he was done dirty at one point in time. Right on. So here, let me share my screen. I also have a up right now. Is once it. Are you guys able to see that?
Yes. Now I can. We can, my good sir.
Perfect. Yeah, I've got one of my challenges up right now. Again, so something where we wanted to be able to have, outside of the Red Book, which really wasn't doing a ton of player education. We want people to bring in their own gear, their own commanders, and basically fight it just a bit more like a ladder, so that when there are kind of downtimes in the game, either early season or inter-season periods, that we have some viable kind of single-player stuff that people can actually engage in. But
yeah.
Let's actually talk about some of the bigger things that are kind of going on. So this is our early access map right now. We are basically supporting in around about a fifth of the players that we'd actually plan out. Hence the fact we're only going out with half the factions, 6 out of the 8 squadrons, which are effectively our barracks right now. And even with our internal play test and what we're seeing right now on the first handful of servers that we populated, the competition is fierce. People have gotten right into this, and it's been really promising so far. Going back to my own base, I want to talk just a little bit, just to show you guys some of the tech tree itself. So we have our 8 ships. These are basically just the starter ships for each one of the individual factions. I know we didn't actually at that faction select screen actually have any examples there of some of the art to kind of go a little bit more into the lore, but I'll actually just kind of touch on some of the ships that represent those guys. And right now, obviously, I'm on the Ograx faction, so I've unlocked my sort of quote unquote evil side ships, and then we have our sort of good side ships that are shown down here as unowned ones right now. So we talked about Tyrannus. We showed off that really cool kind of mask and their sort of kind of Darth Vader vibes that they had here. All in all, from a lore and IP side of things too, is that we really did not want this to just be pure hard sci-fi. It is kind of a little alienating. We wanted to opt for ourselves from a creative point of view to have a little bit more, that kind of stuff that would propagate into abilities and the art of more of a space fantasy feel, because we didn't just want guns, bombs, and rockets. We also wanted various types of torpedoes, beam lasers, pulse lasers, direct energy weapons, those types of things to kind of cover off. So our counterpoint here, our kind of glass cannon faction, the Arcos, really sort of capitalizing on their sort of notion of harnessing these kind of arcane powers and energy that we see shown within their own kind of ship design, and also shown within their strike craft too. the other guys that we have at our disposal right now too, which are our AI faction. A lot of negative space. They don't necessarily need living quarters. They are a little bit more ancient and mysterious overall by comparison. Our Terra faction, more the sort of space military side of things, with all those sort of like minor details of them kind of going broadside and just peppering with the really high volumes of fire. And of course, our space dwarves, still very rustic, still very brutish, but building this all out in terms of what they look like with, you can see sort of on the side here, two sort of larger oversized kind of deck guns effectively. And again, these are all like the tier 1 ships. Everything else is just going to get cooler from here on out. So we're really happy with how this is all transpired. And the tech trees should look fairly. Let's go to one of the ones that are just a little bit more advanced along here right now. Some stuff that should be fairly familiar with you guys. So we don't necessarily have to go over the concept of what these mastery points are and how these things are basically earned season and then basically remain durable season over season. But still the same type of thing of building into specialized siege builds, things that might be a little bit more tuned to stun immunity if they're stacked with the right officers, stuff that should be fairly familiar, and a lot of areas where we're looking to have kind of quality of life upgrades. So some of these, just even on the visual level, whether it is on our battle reports, whether it is on our tech tree, things that are just really good from an onboarding point of view, as in like, do I understand this is a healing ability, and that we're not just looking at a whole bunch of cross swords icons across the board, trying to discern which one is the more advanced, which one is the sort of title skill versus which the title versus the skill and such. So we want that to be something that's really understandable. But yeah, I don't have to go too far in depth with this, because if you guys have played 1.0, then you should understand most of this, or at least be familiar with it. And just on the side too of us also looking at it from a rule set point of view, we did see those kind of runaway strengths of certain commanders in Rise to War, and areas where we thought that we're going to be putting a lot more of a concerted effort into active balance and management. As was mentioned beforehand, trying to make sure that we have a more equalized meta. Not to go overboard though, because it's sort of the case of a game like this does play a lot closer to like a long format MOBA. And when a lot of developers see that someone's dipped up to like a 55% win rate, or dipped down to like a 45% win rate, that's definitely an area to kind of go as an investigation point. Same thing with like a collectible card game. If you're looking at mana costs versus actual direct damage or anything else that it will synergize with, those are all areas that we want to look at, because we want things to be equalized a little bit more, and we do want that utility and basically to have validity for all the different tools within the toolbox, because nothing delights game devs more than when we put out a series of features, tools with backed with the appropriate meta, where you guys take that away and do things we never thought of. Like that's awesome. And everything within the game itself, whether it is the battle reports, whether it is the sharing capacity within those kind of social features, is an amazing thing to see. And that's really what we do want to try to actively capture and build upon, especially with you guys.
Sweet.
Cool.
That
So let's go a little bit.
Very, very promising.
Awesome. So right now I'm in Ograx, and we've managed to definitely looks like we're going to be taking the backdoor route in here against Tyrannus, and probably going to be launching attack pretty damn soon. This should be a pretty familiar sight to a lot of you guys in terms of, hey, we've cleared out a bunch of areas, we're ready to stage, we're ready to take this a control point. But on the fidelity side, it's something we are trying to do, especially with this being converted over to hex tiles, trying to find that appropriate amount of balance, and also a lot of areas within map fidelity. Like the usability of this right now, I'm just doing this on a mouse, and being able to like mouse wheel in and out of various areas is fantastic. This will also be translated to mobile for like things like pinch zoom. We did want to make sure that a lot of features had that quality of life thing that was put into here, so that people are making more decisions in the moment where they need to.
Yeah.
So things like the map tile search tool, we wanted to make sure that was operating in a more sort of functional way. The way we display a lot of information to find out where eligible marches could be stationed and such. These are all areas where we want to touch upon, because when you play a game like this where there's so much going on, there's a lot of cognitive load. We don't want to take people out of that context, because there's a lot of features. There's a lot of things that we want to sort of tick the box on so that you can make those decisions, as Tass was saying, in terms of the ability to respect some of your officers is a huge one. There's always trepidation. It's like, oh crap, am I going to lose something here? So there are a lot of usability concerns that we want, because that quality bar comes down to our features. It comes down to the IP. It comes down to things that we want to do on the map. Again, this is just an early access map. This is like a fifth of the size to accommodate the number of players we had, because I think right here we're only looking at around like 18 regions. We'd probably be pushing somewhere like in that 50 to 60 range to really capture that size. But similar things in terms of broader choke points, open areas to traverse, our crossing points where there can have those like staging areas as points of contention, and our own version of it too, as in like the more sort of generic keeps, but then also to looking at the larger POIs that are going to warrant a lot more sort of faction-based rewards as well. So we have kind of home planets, other planets of interest, a lot of decorations that we're going to be going in on in terms of like these various types of black holes, all types of things that we really want to make sure that there's this kind of not only engaging gameplay, but immersive level of fidelity to kind of have all on there. So bring that back to a lot of stuff that you guys have been asking about, is like, mobile, when, is that we do want to make sure that quality bar is there, not just from the fact that, hey, we have to be mobile compliant, make sure we work on all devices. That's all the sort of infrastructure and kind of overhead that goes with any of these kinds of games, but also that depth of meta. We keep on touting this horn of like, we're going to be doing this cool stuff with the officers, bringing back a lot of builds that we used to have fun with. We need to make sure we have the right number of ships. We have to make sure that they reach that quality bar and then exceed that too, all the way down from all of our assets. Everything's looking fantastic thus far. We got a great team that was able to whip up this brand new IP, so we're going to be continuing with that as we have that. Because we don't want you guys coming in to be like, it's great, but they really kind of dropped the ball on this part of the economy or this part of the meta. And even our battle reports, while what Tash showed was a lot more robust, these are the types of things where I know I'm talking to like a lot of fairly hardcore players, but one of the bigger things too is that a lot of these mobile 4X games basically just give you like this big dump of a log, and then you have to kind of just go through and parse through what happened, what procced and such. So we do have certain levels of usability that we're trying to introduce here. We were even developing round by round summary months and months and months ago. But are there other things that we can also throw in here? Can we do some charts? Can we do some stuff that actually surfaces things that when new users come in, they're like, wow, that makes sense. I put points into said ability, and now I can see on this graph that that's when this procced, and that's when they lost half of their back line, front line, large units, things of that sort. So these are all things that we are trying to look at for additional polish in the future.
Nice. Nice, really nice.
So my other talking points are basically things that are not new to any of you guys. A really robust chat system is fairly important with us. We are fully supporting the ability to share battle reports. Again, someone's just scouted one of those POIs recently and went through and said, I don't think there's any defenders. I don't think there's anyone left at that particular outpost. So sharing coordinates, all those types of things, to be able to look at those builds, that's nothing new. But then also having that translate into the map so that we have various pins. Obviously, that's going to come from the guild leaders to say attack this at this point in time, but also to come up with some other ways to generate the heat maps for activity. Has this area been hotly contested? How many deaths has there been? Is there some movement that's going on? For the broader kind of strategic feedback, obviously, we still want to make sure that information is preserved, so that people aren't getting an unfair advantage. But that's definitely all coming fairly soon too. With the other things that we have in here. So it's been great to see these people kind of come in and learn the game very quickly, because that's just some of you guys, I know me personally, my first season in Rise to War, I was left kind of high and dry. I didn't get in with the right crew, but then other people I knew that joined the game got in with the right guild, and that really did just propel their learning and onboarding into the game. And it's been great to actually see that experience a lot more in this sort of like tighter group. be represented, where people kind of came in and they said, look, just spec into these areas. I know you're brand new. You can still come and help do siege damage. And that's really the beauty of this game, is that a lot of other 4X games are games where you get dropped on the map. There's some guy that's next to you that's level 70, and they're basically going to farm you for resources every time you log in. And it's like, oh, great, that just happened. And of course, with the seasonal side of things, it's always that, hey, I'm a new player. I'm not great at this, but it's like, don't worry, buddy, follow us. And in a season or two, you're going to at least have the tools to make some decent contributions, or this is a way to contribute, or having those builds that, you spec with the right gear, that speed boost is there, you throw on some, tier 1 cavalry, you are causing a problem for tilers, or you are becoming a problem tiler. We want to kind of bring a lot of those roles back that have been ultimately phased out.
Sweet.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else that's here. Again, there's not a ton for me to reiterate. If you are familiar with Rise to War 1.0 rules. But again, yeah, we are looking for a lot deeper meta in terms of additional ships. So we do have to go through concept and design those. So we have a good number on the way. Our strike craft are well on their way too, at least just for this early access. We throttled it to our tier 1 and tier 2. Actually, let me see if I got any of these guys right now that I can just go through on my reinforcement side. Boom. Yeah, this is what I'm currently running with right now. I've got some heavy units. These are the equivalent of trolls, some cavalry, and then some sort of backline. This is all with the Ograx faction in terms of the strike craft that they have.
Okay.
But I am able to go back in, look at my production, take a look with an infrastructure, and then see, okay, what is it specifically I built? Again, all these 3D views are available for everything, for the ships, for the individual strike craft. And let's see how Arcos is going. Haven't spec'd into Arcos at all. But we have some even cooler tier 3s, obviously, that are going to be coming up. These are the guys who are a little bit more on the glass cannon side. But again, kind of playing with arcane energy and are going to be a lot of fun once we really double down on their tier 3s. As you know, that's where the game really kind of opens up in a lot of ways. Yeah, and a lot of things that are coming soon. That'll be very exciting. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I know that we did have a big surge of some guilds coming in and piling in. Is that, again, this is all rolling servers, so if you guys join now, you're going to be put in with new players, so there's going to be no particularly unfair advantages at this point in time, and this should be live for, at least on our planning right now, for about a little over another week to play on PC and Mac for the time being.
All right, guys. If you guys have any questions, hit the chat. I do have a few myself, and it's okay if if you guys can't answer those, currently that's fine. So how many ships do you have for this launch, or how many ships you guys planning to have currently for the game? And I'm assuming is it going to be also kind of like 3 tiers of ships?
Yeah. So, can you guys hear me right now? Just
Yep.
making sure you guys can. I'm not talking to my mute button. But there. In terms of size, it's going to be similar to what you guys have seen in the past. Though we won't have too many kind of garbage commanders where people end up with, like, especially on the tier 3 side, and then you find out that they're not usable or they're only great with a neutral unit that you can never have. But we're going to try to make them great. Like I mentioned, I obsessed about trying to make Thranduil great again. And he was good if he could mono-stack heralds. But we're going to find ways to make sure that there's a rich meta, that there's going to be a whole lot of combos in there. So not just with the tier 1, 2, and 3 ships, but I also think that a lot of the game meta, a lot of the gameplay was locked behind some very hard to get gold gear, where once you get access to it, like a retaliate, like a weapon, then suddenly Lurtz is amazing. You have this retaliate kind of berserker build that only 0.5% of people can play. We're trying to make that stuff a little bit more accessible. And that's most of the builds were locked behind the gear, and we'll try to make the gear a little bit cooler, a little bit easier to use. just a little bit earlier because we want a big user base being able to engage and obviously keep on playing.
All right. Jax asked a couple times. I don't know if you guys can answer this, but he asked, "What's the game budget?"
Well, the game budget. I don't know if our CEO is here listening right now, but we've definitely spent millions of dollars on the budget already. We've been in production for a number of years. I don't know the exact number. I know it's like more than 5, possibly more than 10. So a lot went into this.
Wow.
A lot of time and love, and we're pretty much going all out on every aspect, every little detail, as you guys can see.
Jax also asked, "What's the percentage for gold drops?"
The percentage for gold drops.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the hard currency
I mean,
drops? We're talking about Matham drops. Or,
yeah. Like, I mean, what once you open a chest, what's the percentage rate that the chance of getting a gold gear or a gold a tier 3 commander?
Oh, gold gear drops. Yeah, I think we're gonna try to make it a little bit similar. Because it worked for me, it got me. I tell people I was a free-to-play player for the longest time. No one believes me, but I was. Everybody's kind of laughing right now. But I like the rhythm. I like that you're able to kind of focus on certain things, especially on the commander side, and just kind of go in with your build. But I do, me personally, like I played with, because I was homies with a lot more of the free-to-play players, saw them kind of fall behind. I do think that if players have played a lot of seasons, that they should be able to catch up. Like, should the drops be the same end of season when you're a season 1 player versus a season 10? I think so, at least. And I think that more people playing keeps the whales engaged because, well, a good number of us here are whales, and we see that there's not a whole lot to play with these days, and that sucks. So outside of the gold drops, we're going to try to make it so that we'll pay attention, most definitely, that anybody that's engaging will have their shot.
Sweet. Shout out to Bill, Bill Fernie. Thank you, brother. He just sent a super chat. Evil RP, let's go. Oh, that is a good question. Oh, Bill, thank you for the super chat. But you also reminded me of something. Are we gonna have this whole situation with having RP NRP style of division?
Well, currently our early access is RP versus non-RP. I kind of like both. Like I mentioned, my favorite build, I think possibly the strongest build in 1.0 was a Gimli build using a Witch King troop build. Basically, you give them like a Night Star with Opportune Strike, and you give them a Frenzy Hammer, and you give them an Uruk helmet, and then you load them up with Swans and Alps, and that thing was pretty hard to beat. So I'm all for that, but not for everybody. So game to try both, but at the same time, I know I was in a Gravity Blast mentioned Titus earlier. I played a split season of Full Evil, and it was rough. So RP or not, I think that where I wouldn't make it so that one side gets White Council and rocks and make things super difficult, and you have to like on the when I was in their group, playing Evil was like rocket science compared to like the simplicity on the good side of just using a White Council build with like Dane and Bjorn.
Yep.
So I think we'll try to make these a little bit more balanced, regardless. And I think that the big problem with RP versus NRP is that all the evil guys just don't have the good side commander. So if you jump into NRP, you're kind of hosed. So we're not going to make it that way. If you use pure evil characters, pure evil collection, you'll be able to hang in NRP, and that's something that we're going to spend a lot of time doing.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, because that also explains why there was just such a rush for the suited builds as well. Because I know as an evil player, the context mattered every time, like for absolutely everything, and it was so unforgiving. And we really don't want that to kind of be our case too. So yeah, all about the balance, all about trying to find better combinations.
And I also missed the range builds as well. My R25 Sunan became didn't quite feel like R25 student uh, after 2.0, and I been following Jax trying to make that thing work again, or a few of the other players that had Sunan builds. I think I don't know exactly. There were a few, but I think the mix-ups I think are going to be really important, and we're going to try to make sure we have those in the game.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sunan 1.0 was, yeah.
I've got a question for you, which is quite similar to one that's just sort of posted in chat. So in terms of the seasons, how long are you expecting like a season to go on for, and then what happens post-season?
Yeah, so I think that we're still building into the tech right now, and there's a number of ways. Like, I remember in the first few seasons that they're just kind of auto routing. I think something like that might be necessary for early players because players don't really know what they're doing. It's like to coordinate enough to go into a season 2. So I think that there will need to be build up. We're talking about a lot. From do we do a back end, or do we make something a little bit more fun, like a better challenges, more stuff to do, or even your own dedicated personal map that you can just kind of build and constantly explore into and just fight cool things on your free time. There's going to be a whole lot of things that we're discussing. We're taking a step back from that. We're looking at probably starting off with like same thing, like 2-month seasons, maybe like 7-week kind of thing, and possibly some build up into, if you guys were interested, we're going to definitely listen to you guys, better routing into like some more hyped seasons. Like, okay, just like in sports, you have kind of the regular season, then you go into the playoffs, and then you fight into like a 7-game like NBA Finals series, or you like go and fight in the Super Bowl and that kind of thing, or battle it out in the Super Bowl. Could there be build up depending on time of year, which would be kind of cool as well. I know that I'm in some groups trying to build up a pretty big fight right now. Yeah, could the game kind of handle that for you guys based off of how things are going? So a lot of opportunity there to capitalize on. And you guys let us know if you guys have great ideas on how to pull it off.
Oh, that is
What up, Jax?
Hey, man, that the game intro screen looks fire.
Thanks, man. Been trying to get you and a few guys to try it out for the longest time. Please let me know you're gonna give it a shot and give me some of your in-depth kind of Jax feedback, man.
Yeah, when I get some time, I'll jump over.
Cool. All right.
What's where are you from?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm from West Coast. Yeah, in the U.S. side. So I was kind of like West Coast, like time zone coverage, which is kind of rough usually for my guilds because everybody else is European time.
You're up in northern West Coast. You're not in like California, right?
Yeah. We well, no, I'm in California.
Oh, you are.
With with a few people here. I used to. Well, a lot of people associate me with Muad'Dib from Lane's side, and we're all kind of West Coast there, so it's kind of mixed up all around.
You're in Northern California, I take it.
Yeah, northern, kind of tech area where a lot of gaming kind of got big and big and heavy.
Yeah. I figured. Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, down south.
Cool, man. All right, we're West Coast, so we're gonna have to hold it up while our whole team's asleep half the time.
Yeah. So when's this come out? In a week? On PC?
Well, in terms of early access, feel free to jump in right now. We've been live for about a week now. We're going on to maybe about 2 weeks. Still time to get every type of goodie under the sun that you want to collect right now. And then we're probably going to go back into the development mode soon after. So if you guys want to taste, just jump on now and let us know your thoughts.
It's on Steam?
So currently right now, it's just a download off of a website. So if you go to, what is this? projectnova.revolvinggames.com. I'll link you personally on
Yeah,
this
we
one.
need to put that link in the chat.
Yeah,
Anthony.
I'll put it again really quick. I think I put it a few times. Let me put it again. Here we go. It's in the chat again, guys. Go download it. Test it.
What's the season rewards? Is it similar to this game, Lord of the Rings?
I think like I mentioned earlier, still a discussion internally, but we're just going to monitor what most players have, and make sure that most players, if you're engaged enough, just don't fall completely behind. Because which kind of sucks every season now. You guys kind of see it as that there are sometimes engaged players that actually want to play, and then they just can't hang. So, like I said, if you're in season 10, you made it that far, should you be getting the same rewards that someone from season 1 is getting? Maybe not. So we're going to try to keep things balanced and fun for everybody.
Seems that way, yeah. You're going to have a lot more balance. You're going to be kind of like normal, normal development team in that you do what's, needed, what people want.
No, we'll just tell the players, here's your mithril coat and your flaming tongue.
Yeah.
Be happy with it. Be happy with it. That's it.
Just kind of like, get wrecked.
Yeah, and then nerf the crap out of it after we finally get it, right? Because I used to like that mithril coat. I finally got tactical maneuvers on it.
It's so bad. The season rewards are so trash.
Man, they're
So
OP. What you talking about? They're OP, man.
Yeah, right. OP.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I want to see some gear. We haven't seen any gear yet. Let's see some gear.
So the gear, essentially, if I'm not mistaken, it's the commanders, right? The officers.
Yeah.
So if you go for, I got these 3 ships now. For now, I got the Cypher, the Dark Fang, and the Dread. So I'm hitting some ties with this Dark Fang. So I'm assuming these are like your T2 officers gear. So the purples is your rare, your common. You got your T2.
Where's the gear though? I need to see the pieces.
No,
the gear.
These are the gear in this game. The officers are your officers are your version of gear.
Wow, you're gonna have a lot of officers in. Holy crap!
Yeah, you most definitely will. So we're gonna make a big collection of people that you're gonna have.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And they're gonna give you a whole lot of abilities.
Yep. And in this case, our like what we see in Rise to War, our commanders are gonna be your ships. So you unlock your T1s, T2s, T3 ships, equip them with officers, and they give you different abilities. So, for example, you got this lady right here called Celesta. She's a support. Unit defense times by 1. Obviously, you can strengthen this. Ship power times by 0.1. Ship initiative times 0.1. And
that's Galadriel.
Yeah, exactly. Self-healing armor. Every round, medium units, 25% chance of recovering 2%. The cool thing, so correct me if I'm wrong, guys. In this case, let's say I have two Celestas, right? One with this self-healing armor, and let's say there's another passive skill called, self-defense armor, right? And you say I'm going to be able to switch between these passive skills without having to do the whole strengthening and refining little gimmick we do in Rise to War? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
As long as
for
you
me,
own
like
that, as long as you own that gear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet.
So how do you increase that amount, like the 2%? You get more Celeste or what?
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff. So these are all placeholder skills, by the way. We're going to apply.
Yeah.
Those guys, the pictures that you're seeing are probably going to be associated with some pretty sweet skills. But yeah, same strengthening and refining. So if you get duplicates of the same specific Celesta, then you can load them up. But the big change on our side is, basically, if you have the skill in the refine, the history of the refine, you're going to have a screen where you can swap.
That is dope.
So,
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody asked earlier in the chat, will all the history from the beta testing transfer over to the live stuff when you like your ships whatever?
So maybe not these just specifically, we're probably going to rotate some stuff out, but we are tracking your progress, and the profile pics actually just show how far you've gone. You're going to be able to carry some of that stuff over to your real account.
Sweet.
But most of it, as we've seen from Rise of War, it'll just kind of reset, and the collection will kind of start again. We're kind of doing it this way so that when we go into the big launch, some of you guys may miss the early access, especially some of you guys that really need a mobile phone. So we don't want to make it so great that like all these players are way ahead. So just more of come in, have fun, get your feedback, get the cool profile pics. They may be associated with some other types of cool benefits in the future. So they may be more than just profile pics. But yeah, I think the most valuable thing for us is just getting your feedback, man. But I will say that like some of these guys coming into the game, these guys are hardcore. So if you want some like good competition from like a new group of players, like Sam was bragging about being number one earlier, but he got knocked down quick over this one weekend when these guys were going nuts. So there's a lot here for if you guys just want some heavy engagement.
Sweet. I'm assuming this timer on my screen on this tile I just took is the tile protection.
I'm actually not looking at your screen just.
Oh,
right
sorry,
now,
sorry. There's a little shield with a red bar going down. 1 minute 47 seconds.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we have a whole lot of that stuff as well. Yeah, you're gonna have tile protection, just like it's like the old tiling system we used to have. So protect, bounce big groups, connects your friends to land, all that kind of good stuff. We'll be back in our game.
Where are you guys going to advertise this game at?
Right now, we're just in connection with lots of Discord groups, communities, direct players. If we were to go to mobile, just a lot of traditional means as well, just advertising, hitting up different communities. But right now, just player outreach because we want feedback from the best players, kind of like with you guys, and making the important adjustments first before we do that and do a bigger blast.
You guys have a timeline or kind of an estimate for when you guys want to launch?
Yeah, I mean, nice would be early next year. I don't know the exact time frame because there's a whole lot of like, even if we're done, there's like some strategic strategy aligned with like talking to platforms, that kind of stuff. But I think early next year would be
you're gonna go on
the biggest
Steam?
play. Is there a preference to go on Steam? Is there like a case for that?
Are you going to be on Steam or?
That I don't know. Our team has talked about that in the past. I think the big play would potentially be mobile, but like on Steam, like being able to download off of something reputable is always a big consideration. So yeah, as a result, we'll probably talk about it. But I don't know the final answer on that one.
Tasks, you know how we have like Madams and Madam chests in LOTR? What's kind of going to be like the Nova version of that? And is it going to be like you be able to try and like specify what things you want to get out of the chest? Or
oh yeah, for sure. I think people are going to be able to pick which ships they want to upgrade. I think that was probably like the best part because you know what you're getting. I think it was huge. So a lot of that will kind of function similarly. You'll have chests. You'll be able to upgrade your stuff. Still subject to change, but I'm still of the mindset of if you get your first gold item in 1.0, it's not super great. It looks great, but you can't use it because it only gives you like a plus 1.5% or something like that. Yeah, I'm of the camp of making it a little bit sweeter. And 2.0 is kind of like that a little bit where if you have one of a gold piece, it's a little bit stronger. It's almost like halfway to full upgrade. I kind of like that. So there may be some slight differences that we recapture from 2.0 that weren't bad.
All right. I mean, so far, so fun. I mean, I think I'm kind of in an empty server. Nobody's really fighting. You can see there's not a whole lot going on. But yeah, just testing out all the mechanics, kind of understanding how things function, and so far, man, so far it's been pretty fun. So you got
Cool, man.
we got the
I'll,
battle pass here. These are, I'm assuming these are all icons, right? These are all profile pictures. Okay.
Yeah, some of them are just kind of placeholder, just to kind of pretty it up. But basically, just like our battle passes that we've seen before, there'll probably be some cool gear there, cool people. Yeah, the bottom part is kind of locked right now because we're not taking money from anybody right now. It's not even a battle pass. It's just come in and play it and enjoy.
Yeah.
But it will be what you expect. There will be all sorts of goodies in there, mathums, interesting drops.
Cool. And so you got this gold right here. What is that going to be used for? Sorry, is this kind of what the matham is going to be? Gold or no? I'm assuming maybe.
Yeah, so that might even still just be a placeholder.
Okay.
It was something really cool and pretty, but we're still upgrading a lot of our assets that you see right now. It's like our artists with more time, they like to pretty things up further and further. But basically, there's like the equivalent of like kind of gold and gems. We'll have our equivalent of that as well. By gold, the kind of thing you use to upgrade Strikecraft back when we could do that. We'll probably get that back in the game as well, and then there will be our version of the gems, and then mathams as well.
Sounds good. Okay, so 22 minutes, 25 minutes. Let's build these babies. Yeah, I'm currently running. So what am I running? I'm running some Ogrex Cauldrons, Ogrex Bay. Running this one right here. So these are your infantry. You got your, yeah, it's a close range. It's light. Command per unit. It's the Ogrex, the Gremlin. Cool. So I'm also run. I can upgrade to a Banshee. Okay, and then the tier 3. It's the Werewolf. It requires Ogrex Bay 1 level 99. What?
Crap.
Never mind.
That looks like the ship from Battlestar Galactica, kind of.
This one? That's in the shadow
Oh,
here?
the werewolf. Yeah, the werewolf. Kind of. Bit chunkier.
Definitely going to be some influences from a few places that you guys have seen, but we're definitely going to put our flavor into all the crazy upgrade tracks.
These are kind of our, like, what we'd call our cavalry, our medium units, and you got, last but not least, the basilisk. I mean, that's just a placeholder because it looked the same. Cool. And then your large unit for the Ogrex, it's the Harpy. Look at all those freaking cannons, rockets.
I love the concept and the look. It's great.
That's the art. So you got the Arcos. Let's see, these guys, are these the AI?
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll have, our Arcos will be the Dark Elves. There should be the ship that kind of looks like a giant tiara, like the silver ship. Like, but the other ships look pretty cool beyond this as well. But then that's the kind of the AI ship that we have right now, and there'll probably be a whole lot cooler ships to come from that.
No, that's really cool. And you got this book of this, the Chimera. Oh wow, that is pretty cool. Oh, nice. So it's the T3. It's an infantry unit, a long rush. Cool. It's a T3 ranged unit. Cool. And you got the Tyrannus. Let's see the Witch King going. Let's see Mordor. You got the Radical. You've got then the Fanatic. You have the Battler. We got then the Assassin. This is our medium unit. And then last but not least, the Aggressor. That's pretty cool. All right. I mean, kind of. If I wanted to see all of the other ships, I have to basically create a good side right account to see everything?
Yeah, at this point in time to get access to them, yeah, because we are going out early access more RP, and well, we didn't want to confuse everybody as well. It's like ships that you have but you can't use
Yeah.
right now. So that will be the case. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, this looks really, it's really awesome, man. Honestly, with all
Yeah,
the
we're really putting a lot of care into the StarCraft from even the aesthetic side. The artists have gone around the world and back just to make these things look pretty awesome. And then from the design side as well, we're going to make sure all these units are usable. Yeah, any unit that you kind of remember from 1.0, there will be something like that. They're going to be slightly different. We're going to add our own little flavor to a lot of this kind of stuff, but every troop will be exciting to use again. Long range units will be exciting to use, and there might be some new skills, some new curveballs in there.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope. I mean, at least this is just my personal hope, is that you guys will build, unique roles for ships. So, for example, if I want to have a pure sieging, ship, I can actually do that instead of having to use my main ship to actually siege because I'm scared of somebody hitting me and stuff. So, I mean, everything you guys are showing me looks very promising, very cool. I wanna see the real, like this, like you guys see the spirit of 1.0 is back in this game. I really want to see something like that, come to fruition with you guys. It'd be really, really awesome. We all miss the type of theory crafting we used to do, where like, man, I'm hating this Grima. How do I counter this ship? This ship is disabling my weapons for like every rounds 1, 3, whatever. It's disabling my attacks. How do I counter that? We desperately miss and need something like that.
I know, man. Like, I think we start naming some of the more obscure ones we started working on. Like, I had like a Retaliate Dane that was kind of going good because you have like that bottom R1 tree that gives you like plus 37% troop damage. And I was fighting his Ring Wizards like Khaldun, a Frenzy Dune, and that was working out pretty well. And then I was working with Muad'Dib from Lame to try to figure out how to get his Lego. Well, we both had Lego. We're trying to make it work, and he actually used Dwarf Friend, and he put Guardians in front of the Heralds to tank the first like a couple of rounds of like Convener from a Witch King.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could crush, and then later rounds he'd have like a huge stack of Heralds doing kind of like a smaller but still pretty powerful Retaliate mono stack, and Lego being Lego. That stuff was working, and we were starting to go deep, and then we ran out of time.
That was in 1.0, you said, right?
Yeah. 1.0. I mean, I keep on going. There was just one more that I ran out. I'm talking about those I ran out of time with. I was using my R25 King Aragorn, and that like, if you give him like the black bow with cleave, gives you +3 to range, and you give him an Uruk helmet because he could equip any type of gear, and then you just put men in front and you put some snipers in back. He was rocking soon. It's like no other. And then he would still be King Aragorn. Yeah, all these cool builds were kind of working. And I was like, oh man, this is stuff that's getting fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ran out of time.
And then bye. I mean, I'm assuming you do know that 2.0 is supposed to be 9 commanders per army, right? Did you know that?
9 commanders?
Yep. When we first got the Revelation section before 2.0 hit, the idea was 9 commanders per army, not 4.
Man, I guess they wanted to go deep. But yeah, sure does take a long time to set up your build.
Imagine reading a report.
I know, that's like one of the crazier things about 2.0 is that those reports got like 6 times as big, and it got kind of rough.
Yeah. It takes just a lot of effort to try to understand it nowadays.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is like, yeah, these builds are just so strong. Everybody's kind of a super build, and then you just crash them together.
Yeah,
and there isn't as much of that excitement of getting sniped like we used to before.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit here and there, but it's very shallow. You know, it's theory crafting nowadays is pretty much. Oh, I can't go on that one. I need more units.
Yeah,
See,
a lot of it just hoping your Sour and Madness is going to proxy get the other side to rage, but then when it doesn't, you get kind of hosed. Speaking for my evil season with Jax again.
Yeah, that was the last season I played RP.
So where are you guys right now? Are you guys in NRP right now? Are you guys
Yeah.
strong?
Yep.
Yeah, we're in NRP and doing well, but that was when I finally realized that I couldn't do Evil RP anymore because it just couldn't compete with the meta.
Yeah.
Now it's a little different. Now you can put together some all evil squads in RP or in RP and compete with the meta.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying out my new and souped up Saruman right now with this.
He's
What
going
is
to do
it called? Like the head of the White Council thingy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's going to do well. What good commanders do you have?
Good commanders?
Mhm.
All of them.
Oh, well, then you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right this season with us.
Don't
yeah.
forget though, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Task is place.
What?
What was that, Sam? You said something?
It's still
I-
free to play, aren't you? Tasks.
Free to play tasks. That's me.
You got a vampire lurking in your chat, in your
Yeah.
voice chat.
Yeah, we got Avila. What's up, Avila? How you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, she's not gonna mute herself. Oh yeah, she probably can't talk.
Where'd you play last season with your old team or something? Task.
Yeah, I played a couple of seasons with Lame. Had some pretty good fights the season before. We were kind of getting crushed, but that's kind of the way I like it. Kind of like our season against Bear, where we're just in constant fights, and it's only like a level up 2 teams to level 50. Yeah, and that was super fun. We're fighting aces. Last season was a little bit more chill.
What?
Well, it's 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago.
You were fighting
Yeah, I
aces
came in late.
ago? And Bear?
Yeah, so well, I was fighting with you guys, and then I jumped into the village system a little bit late. So I jumped into a season against aces with Lame like about 2 weeks in, and came from behind and had to grind my way up. So that was kind of fun. But the last season was more chill. More chill.
I think this season will be chill, and then our next season is going to be maybe the biggest season ever.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear aces. What about Gaia? My homies in Gaia.
We might be setting up a 2v2 with those guys, with our two, us and Iron against those two you just mentioned, maybe. If we can pull it off. We'll see.
That's going to be crazy.
It is going to be crazy if it comes to pass. It's going to be nuts. Maybe the biggest showdown ever. But we're just talking right now, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, you're teasing me.
Yeah.
No, get ready. Hopefully.
Cool, guys. Yeah, that's holding the rest of my team up because I know they're all in the stream watching this right now. But like, yeah, any other kind of big questions you guys got? I know we just went into shooting the shit like we do. But for our game as well, or should I kind of let some of my teammates get back to their game?
Well, mate, I'm just kind of playing a little bit here while we're talking. So, I mean, just to wrap it up, honestly, you guys won't need to hop off. I'll be here for another maybe a few more minutes, and then we'll close the stream for today. But it's looking good, man. I love the concept of the original Rise to War and nothing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think something you said earlier, Tass. I think it will be ideal, which is finding that balance between players that will put the money into the game, the whales, the Krakens, whoever, how much, independent of how much they're gonna spend, but finding that balance to keep the lower spenders in the free to play at least give them somewhat of a role, right? Going kind of talking about back in 1.0, we had Iron, we had Saint. If anybody remembers what Saint used to do in 1.0, that guy will be from all the way from Erebor all the way down to the lowest point in the in Gondor southwest. He'd be there in like 2 days and nobody would notice the good dude because he just doesn't stop pathing. Now 2.0 completely destroy that in a way. You can still tile and do certain. Shout out to Katie from Udes because she is a legend at tile taking in 2.0. But that aspect of 1.0 for a lot of low spinners like sieging, tile taking, cleaning up, that did make the game fun for all levels of players, was removed when 2.0 hit. So I just hope that you guys are able to nail that in the head, allowing for a longer, longevity for each of the players that come on board.
If the free to play players have a role and can make an impact in the game, they'll do that. They'll do their job. But you got to market to the free to plays, and you got to market to those audiences. Yeah. You got to pick the right. Like Russia is a good place to go get a bunch of players, and not really big spenders as a whole, but plenty of free to plays, stuff like that. Just market in the right places, and you'll get plenty of free to play.
Oh, yeah, well, totally down to go deep with you guys on where we can get some of those greatest players. Even the free to play ones are just playing hard. But yeah, I can't even count the number of times my a free to play guy on my team just saved my ass and connected my landing that we lost several times over. And I was an idiot, and I marched 30 minutes away or something dumb like that.
Yep.
But yeah, so many times, countless. So I think making that gameplay a little bit more fun for them and letting them also level up with the rest of us and get some good gear because they contribute to the team win.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So we're gonna spend a lot of time, just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, imagine having different rewards for players that stand out during those other types of roles. During a season. Oh, that'd be huge. You have a lot of the lower spinners doing those roles happily if they top 3 pathers, players that took, top 3 players that took enemy tiles that season. You get this, get 2 Mathams, 3 Mathams, anything to reward the goal that you're trying to reach for the game, so.
Yeah, and obviously all of us, we played deep, so we're there.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know how important these guys are. And even if sometimes they're just super active on the Discords and just keep everybody laughing and engaged and all that kind of stuff.
You can clearly see you guys know what you're doing, so I'm not really worried. Just kind of thinking out loud here, the things that I love to see. The things that even 1.0 suffered. Although 1.0 was fun, we know it did suffer, like you mentioned earlier, some T3 commanders that they were still useless in 1.0, So especially the higher end ones, the T3s, T2s, and T3s. So it's just awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, and obviously I think the biggest thing in all seasons is that near the tail end, when we know who's winning the ring, is there anything left to do? Sometimes no. Do we want to set up PvP arenas like we all have done? Too many times? Or is there a
PvE things would be also pretty cool. There's something looking at Rise to War, looking at the Lord of the Rings IP, I would have assumed there would be a lot more fun PvE things to do in the game, and there isn't. There is essentially no more PvE things in Rise to War. Something like that, because that keeps players engaged, If there's something PvE that they can do that supports the faction, maybe the more things they hit, it gives extra bonuses of resources for the faction. Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys clearly know how to build games. I'm just kind of thinking PvE was one of the things I missed on those low times. I remember back in 1.0, on the weekends you had the bosses. Everybody went crazy hitting bosses for the gold and for the Heart of Hero chest that would give them gear and stuff. And those little things like that just keeps players engaged, coming back every day. So.
Yeah. Well, you guys are just like I mentioned, speed dial away, and if we can do it, let us know. and we can figure this stuff out together, guys.
For shizzle.
That right there is monumental difference between your game and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
What you just said, like night and day.
Yep.
Well, hopefully we can deliver it with you guys sometime in the not too far future, and we'll be here talking about the fun times.
Let's go.
Absolutely. And again, like, we are open for your guys' feedback, for things that you guys remember that you loved in that, specifically from a dynamics point of view, and then also feedback from early access. That's also something that we're going to be very tentatively paying attention to.
Yep. I do have a couple of notes, kind of because we're so used to the UI from Rise to War, and it's like, okay, where am I here and there? But it looks solid, man. I really like the way it looks. Somebody said earlier that the music was also really good. Like, it's just, yeah, it's nice.
We have a really, really awesome resident DJ in our studio that put in the extra care.
Nice.
To make it awesome.
So this is a brand new IP that you guys created.
Yeah. Just amalgamation of all these things that we've loved since we were kids, and we want to put it all together. And we want to make it super inclusive, not just kind of space military, which there will be. There will be a whole lot of that because a lot of people, including me, really like it. But at the same time, I also played a lot of like StarCraft and all these other things where you kind of like, and Star Wars where you have like Jedi and the Force and all that kind of stuff. And we want to put all together. So just kind of build as big of a game as we can, and just have all these people that like different factions match together and prove who's the strongest.
Sweet. Cool. I mean, yeah, for example, for me at least, one of the worries that I've always had, even at 1.0, was the barrack limit. I felt that it was quite, my personal view is it was quite low, so you kind of out of the fight quite quickly. So I don't know if this is something you guys are looking to do, is allow us to have a pretty vast barrack size.
Yeah,
hopefully.
And there's something that we can test and learn from. Like, we could try a season and it ends up like we're killing all of our players by playing too much. All right, cool, lesson learned, but we'll give it a shot, kind of thing. So that's the great thing about seasons, where we can try some of this stuff.
Cool, sweet. All right, let's see if the chat has any comments, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, put in chat right now. While we got Tasks and Gravity with us, and if not, then we'll close. Oh, by the way, I did say there was an announcement, and so let me give it to you guys. Not necessarily an announcement, but it is still an announcement. Tomorrow, had to keep this on the download because you know what happens when a team like you joins a campaign. If people find out before it's locked, people can tend to hop off. But since the season is already locked, You'd starts tomorrow, our brand new season. All right, we're doing Rings of Power, that new campaign style that they recently launched, and so we'll be going live tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, close to the same time as we did the live stream today. I'll be coming back with a live stream doing the first 24 hours of the server. I will be on for about 2 hours tomorrow, so don't forget to join with me tomorrow at probably around 20 UTC or 21 UTC. Depends how my day goes tomorrow, but I'll let you guys know. I'll hit you guys with the thumbnail and everything. All right, guys. I think that's gonna do it for us. Task, any final remarks you want to say with everybody here before we close?
Yeah, just speaking on behalf of my team, and Marty Gravity Blast will be able to kind of speak his bit too, but just excited just for everybody here to get a chance to see what we've been working on. We've been working on that for quite some time. A lot of work and love went into it, and we're just trying to create a great product that we hope you guys will enjoy. And cool. Marty, on your side, any last bits?
Yeah, just really excited. I mean, as I mentioned, our internal play tests and going all the way to early access has just blown up even more than we expected in terms of just the engagement, everything else that's happening, and that's the prospect of that and having people like your viewers, people that understand these 4X strategy games, the core kind of underlying strategy of how to like min max optimize around that. Really excited to see what happens when the meta drops and you guys get in there and join up with your guilds and start wreaking some havoc.
Awesome, man. And one other big thanks to Sam, who jumped on this short notice at my request. So thanks again, bud, as always. And any bits from yourself as well?
No, I can't really add anything to what you and Gravity have said. I've enjoyed playing the game over the past week. We just all need that mobile release now so we can play it on the go.
Exactly.
Loud and clear. Got you.
All right, Jax.
Well, I mean, it's very interesting, right? You know, you have the game that we're playing, Lord of the Rings, and the issues that we have and the problems. And we have this wish list, this ongoing wish list of things that we want to see, and we've been wanting to see for a long time. And then out of nowhere comes another game that's basically the same game, but in space. And here the developers, some of them are here, and telling everyone, hey, what works here? What's good? What do you want? All right, tell us. All right, boom, we're going to work on that. So it's pretty interesting, pretty exciting.
Yep, I have to agree. And the thing we've been begging for the last 3 years is give us some kind of contact to the devs. We've never been able to get a single interview with any of them. And here we have 2 of them in a live stream with us. We got direct contact with them.
And both of them have played the game that we play, and they're working on the new game as developers. I think this might be something good.
Yeah, I agree. We got Logic here just said Space Alerts is going to wreck some space. That'd be cool to see. That would be cool to see a Space Alerts. Well, I make Jax's my words. You know, having you guys, I appreciate you guys being willing to jump on, explain the game in your guys' plan, but especially for opening this channel with us. You know, for anybody that's going to play the game, and for us trying to push it out, get people to know. You know, once we cover the game and we stream it and do all these things, it gives us a clear connection to say, hey, we like this. How about this? And it just makes life easier, you know. It's just, yeah, kind of feeling like nobody's there. It makes it really hard to.
It makes life normal. You mean normal interaction?
Exactly. Yes. It has to, you know.
Normalcy.
The crazy thing is, this is, Rice Wars is the very first only game I've played, mobile game, that I've played for more than a week. You know, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, hence the name of the channel. So just seeing something that you've come to really like, just be kind of left in the darkness, it's heartbreaking, man, honestly. But I love it, man. Love it. Look forward to covering, look forward to sharing with everybody. But if nobody has anything else to say, that's going to do it. Don't forget, tomorrow around 2100 UTC, we'll be live streaming. Our season starts. Come back and enjoy. Check out my formations. I'm probably running 2 or 3 different formations this season. Come check it out. Have some fun. And, yeah, I'm going to get some rest now because it's very late for me. Take care, everybody.